All right, so get ready because today we are going deep into the IELTS speaking test.
Specifically part 2,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
which everyone knows as the long turn.
Yeah, the long turn, the one where you're just kind of by yourself having to speak for like a couple minutes.
Right.
And I've heard from a lot of people that this part can be incredibly nerve-wracking.
Absolutely.
But lucky for us, we have 3 top IELTS cue cards and model answers to help us.
And this claims it can help you get a band.
A band,
7.
a band 7,
7.
an 8, or even a 9
A 9.
on the IELTS.
Yes.
And I think what makes this one really cool is that it's not just giving us, answers.
Nice.
It's also breaking down why those answers work.
Well, that's the fascinating thing about this guide. It
Yeah.
really emphasizes the psychology of the test.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just about the content of what you say,
Yeah.
but how you say it and the impression you make on the examiner.
So it's like you're giving them all the pieces to solve the puzzle.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay.
First things first. Yes. We need to break down the process of the long turn.
Absolutely.
What does it look like?
So you get a cue card with a topic
Okay.
and some prompts to help guide your response.
Okay.
Then you have 1 minute to prepare.
Oh my gosh, only 1 minute
Just 1 minute.
to come up with this whole thing?
You can jot down some notes, gather your thoughts,
Okay.
and then you have 2 minutes to speak.
Okay, 2 minutes? That's shorter than like a song.
True.
But I can see how the pressure can make it feel much longer.
Absolutely.
Speaking of pressure,
Mhm.
what are some of the common pitfalls people fall into when they're doing the long turn?
Well, one common pitfall is getting too caught up in trying to use fancy vocabulary.
Oh, yeah, just trying to sound smart.
Yes, they cram in big words that might sound unnatural or out of place,
Okay.
which can actually hurt their score.
Really?
Yes, remember,
So it's more about communication,
it is all about communication.
not about showing off that you have a big vocabulary.
Precisely.
So finding that sweet spot between the two. So I remember reading about these 4 criteria that examiners use.
Yes.
Could you refresh my memory on what those 4 are?
Of course. So we have fluency and coherence,
Okay.
lexical resource,
Uh-huh.
grammatical range and accuracy,
Okay.
and pronunciation.
Okay. Those sound familiar, but could you break them down for me?
Sure.
Like, what does fluency and coherence actually mean in this context?
So think of fluency like a smooth jazz solo.
Okay.
It just flows effortlessly without any jarring interruptions.
Okay.
And coherence is about making sure your ideas connect logically,
Okay.
like chapters in a book.
I like that.
You want the examiner to easily follow your train of thought.
So it's about taking them on a journey with you,
Exactly.
with your words.
Yes.
Now, I'm curious about lexical resource.
Okay.
How can you demonstrate a wide vocabulary without sounding like you're reading from a dictionary?
Well, instead of forcing in obscure words, think about using synonyms to vary your language.
Yep.
For instance, instead of repeating good, you could say excellent, fantastic, or outstanding.
Okay.
It adds richness to your speech without sounding artificial.
It's like adding different shades of the same color to create depth and dimension.
Exactly.
Now, grammatical range and accuracy,
Yes,
that sounds pretty self-explanatory.
it does.
But is there anything else to it?
Well, it's not just about avoiding grammatical errors.
Yeah.
It's about showing you can use a variety of sentence structures,
Okay.
simple, compound, complex sentences.
Oh, so like sentence variety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about showcasing your flexibility with the language.
So it's not just being grammatically correct,
Right.
but it's also about being interesting
Precisely.
with your grammar.
Yes.
Okay, finally we have pronunciation.
Yeah.
How important is this aspect really?
Pronunciation is crucial.
Okay.
Imagine trying to enjoy a song with a singer who's off-key.
Oh, yeah,
Even with great lyrics, it wouldn't be pleasant.
it's true.
Similarly, clear pronunciation makes your message easy to understand and enjoyable.
Right. You could have the most brilliant ideas,
Yes.
but if your pronunciation is unclear, it'll get lost in translation.
Absolutely.
So now our source, 3 top IELTS cue cards and model answers,
Yes.
dives into specific examples.
Yes, it does.
Are you ready to tackle those?
Let's do it.
Perfect.
All right.
So the first cue card asks you to describe a time you received good news.
Okay.
Now, this seems pretty straightforward.
It does.
But what are some common mistakes people make with this type of prompt?
Well, one mistake is focusing solely on the event itself
Okay.
without connecting it to their personal experience.
Oh.
They might simply state the good news
Yeah.
and provide a factual account without explaining why it was significant to them or how it made them feel.
Okay, so they're not giving the why.
Exactly.
It's just like this thing happened.
Yes.
So you have to give it that emotional weight.
You need to make the examiner feel like they're experiencing it alongside you.
Oh, I like that. So the guide emphasizes structuring your response with an introduction, background details, and a conclusion.
Yes.
So you're building like a miniature story
Exactly.
with a beginning, middle, and end.
A beginning, a middle, and an end.
But how does that play out in a 2-minute response?
Well,
That doesn't seem like a lot of time.
so you start by briefly stating the good news in your introduction.
Okay,
That's your hook
got it.
to grab the listener's attention.
Okay.
And then you provide the context and explain the background.
Okay.
Why was this good news so important?
And that's where you add those emotional layers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then you get into the details, painting a vivid picture of the event.
Oh, okay.
The guide suggests using sensory language to make it come alive for the listener.
So instead of just saying, I was happy,
Yes.
you might say, my heart skipped a beat and a wide grin spread across my face.
Precisely.
I like that.
Yeah.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly.
And finally, you wrap up with a conclusion.
Yes.
And that's where you reflect on the impact of the good news. Exactly.
If it inspired you or changed your perspective
Right.
or strengthened a relationship.
Absolutely.
So that's where you give the so what.
Yes.
Tie everything together.
Exactly.
Leave a lasting impression on the examiner.
Now, I know you are eager to see how this structure translates into an actual answer.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
So the sample answer reads, a time I received good news was when my sister got into her dream university.
Okay.
She had been preparing for years, attending extra classes and working late nights.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
When the acceptance letter arrived, it was a moment of pure joy for our entire family.
Ah.
I still remember the excitement as we read the letter together in our living room.
I love how they added those sensory details, like reading the letter together in the living room.
Yes.
You can really picture it
You can picture the scene.
and feel that shared joy. It
Absolutely.
makes you feel like you're there.
Exactly. And notice how they also highlight the emotional impact.
Yeah.
A moment of pure joy.
It really emphasizes the feeling. It makes the response more engaging and relatable.
Okay, so we've tackled good news.
Yes.
Now let's move on to something maybe a little bit more personal.
Okay.
Cue card number 2, which asks you to describe an activity you enjoy.
Ah, this is where you get to showcase your passions and interests.
Oh yeah, this one's fun.
It is.
But I bet there are still some potential pitfalls to avoid.
There are.
What do you think?
So one common pitfall is choosing an activity just because you think it sounds impressive.
Oh, so like trying to make yourself look good.
Yes, but if you're not genuinely enthusiastic about it,
Oh yeah,
it will show in your delivery.
that's so true.
So authenticity is key here.
The examiner can spot a fake from a mile away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so don't try to be someone you're not.
The guide emphasizes choosing something you genuinely enjoy
Yeah.
to make speaking about it more natural and engaging.
Let your enthusiasm shine through.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the structure for this type of cue card?
Okay.
Should we follow the same introduction, background details, and conclusion?
The guide suggests a slightly different approach,
Okay.
but still with a clear and logical structure.
Okay.
So start by naming the activity and how often you do it,
Okay.
and then dive into the description,
Okay.
explaining where, how, and with whom you do it.
So you're setting the stage for the examiner,
Precisely.
giving them a clear picture of what this activity looks like in your life.
Yes. Okay. And then instead of focusing on a specific event like in the previous cue card,
Okay.
the guide recommends highlighting a memorable experience related to this activity.
So for example, if you're talking about playing the guitar,
Yes.
you might share a story about a time you performed on stage or wrote your first song.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good one.
It's going to make your response more vivid and memorable.
And then finally, you wrap up by discussing the benefits of this activity.
Exactly.
Like, why do you love it?
Yes, why do you love it?
What does it bring to your life?
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's dive into the sample answer they provide to see how these tips translate into a real response.
Let's hear it.
So they offer this. One activity I enjoy is hiking. I live near scenic trails surrounded by forests and hills, which makes it easy to go hiking every weekend.
I like that.
One memorable hike was last summer when I climbed a trail leading to a breathtaking viewpoint at sunset.
I love how they've added those sensory details.
Yes.
Like scenic trails, breathtaking viewpoint,
Yes.
colors of the sky.
It makes you feel like you're there.
You can really feel yourself in that peaceful environment.
Exactly.
And then they also highlight the physical and emotional benefits of hiking,
Yes.
staying fit and clearing their mind.
Exactly.
So it's not just an activity. It's a holistic experience.
It is.
So even when we're talking about something we enjoy,
Yes.
it's important to go beyond the surface
Absolutely.
and explain why it matters to us.
Yes.
Okay, so we've tackled good news.
Yes.
A beloved activity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to get the hang of this.
You are.
Are you ready to explore cue card number 3?
Bring it on.
All right, cue card number 3 asks you to describe a place you would like to visit.
Okay.
Now, this one feels a bit trickier.
It does.
What if you haven't traveled much?
Right.
Or don't have a specific dream destination in mind?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the guide addresses it directly.
Oh, good.
They emphasize that you don't need to have personally visited the place to give a compelling answer.
Oh.
Research is your best friend here.
So it's about showcasing your curiosity and your ability to learn
Yeah.
and articulate information about a place, even if you haven't experienced it firsthand.
Exactly.
Okay, so for this type of cue card structure is once again key.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to start by naming the place
Okay.
and explaining why you would like to visit it.
Okay.
What sparked your interest?
Yeah.
What draws you to this particular destination?
It's like establishing your thesis statement for your travel dreams.
I love that.
So you're giving the examiner a clear understanding of your motivation.
Exactly.
Okay, and then move on to describing the place.
Yes.
Highlight specific attractions,
Uh-huh.
activities that you want to experience.
Yes.
Is it known for its historical landmarks
Right.
or its vibrant culture?
Yes.
Stunning natural beauty.
Absolutely.
Paint a picture with your words.
Exactly.
Okay.
And don't forget to mention what makes this place unique.
Okay.
What sets it apart from other destinations?
So like find those little hidden gems
Yes.
that make the destination special,
Exactly.
worth visiting.
Yeah.
And finally, you bring it back to a personal level.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Reflect on why this place holds meaning for you.
Okay.
Is it a place you've always dreamed of visiting?
Oh, yeah.
Does it connect to your interests or heritage in some way?
So you're giving it that personal connection to
Exactly.
show that it's not just some random place you picked off a map.
Right.
It's somewhere that really resonates with you.
Yes.
Okay, let's see an example.
All right, so here's the example. A place I'd love to visit is Istanbul.
Istanbul.
Known as the bridge between Europe and Asia, it offers a unique blend of cultures and histories.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to visit the Blue Mosque, explore the bustling Grand Bazaar, and enjoy authentic Turkish cuisine.
Wow. I can practically feel myself being transported to Istanbul.
Yes.
They did such a good job of incorporating specific landmarks,
Yes.
like the Blue Mosque and the Grand Bazaar, highlighting cultural elements
Yes.
like Turkish cuisine,
Yes.
and expressing their personal fascination with the city.
Exactly.
This is a great example of how research and thoughtful structuring can elevate your response,
Yes.
even if you haven't personally visited the place.
Absolutely.
This has been so helpful.
It has.
I feel like I'm already feeling more confident about tackling these cue cards.
Good.
But I know there's more to the IELTS speaking test than just the long turn.
Of course.
We'll dive into those general strategies for success in the next part of our deep dive.
We will.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. I'm ready to uncover some more strategies for just conquering the IELTS speaking test.
And we have a treasure trove of tips.
Oh, good.
Remember, preparation is key.
Preparation is key, but what does effective preparation look like?
That is the question. It's not just about passively reading tips or memorizing those vocabulary lists.
Right. It's about really like putting yourself in the test taker's shoes.
Exactly. And this guide strongly encourages practicing with a variety of cue cards.
Oh, okay.
Don't limit yourself to just the examples we discussed earlier.
Find as many practice cue cards as you can and simulate the test environment. Okay.
Yes.
So pretend you're in the exam room.
Yes.
Go through the 1-minute prep time.
Uh-huh.
And then speak for the full 2 minutes.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip that I found incredibly helpful.
Okay.
When I was preparing for language exams, record yourself while you practice.
Oh, that's a good idea. I used to hate hearing my voice recorded, but I can see how that would be valuable.
It's like having an instant replay of your performance. You can analyze your fluency, vocabulary, pronunciation.
Pinpoint those areas you need to work on.
Exactly.
It's all about self-awareness, right?
Yes.
Using those recordings to refine your skills.
Precisely. Now, speaking of refinement, let's talk about expanding your vocabulary.
Oh, okay.
We touched on lexical resource earlier,
Yeah.
but I think it deserves a deeper dive.
It's one of those areas where people either overthink it or completely neglect it.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. The key is to strike a balance.
Okay.
You want to demonstrate a wide range, but not at the expense of naturalness.
Right.
You don't want to sound like you're reciting a dictionary.
No.
So how do you achieve that sweet spot? The guide offers some fantastic strategies. First, focus on learning topic-specific vocabulary.
Okay, so if you know that the IELTS often covers things like travel, work, education, hobbies, you can tailor your vocabulary study.
Exactly. For instance, if you're talking about travel, familiarize yourself with words like itinerary, destination, culture shock.
Right, pack the right tools for the job.
I love that analogy. And another key strategy is to use synonyms to avoid repetition.
Oh, okay.
This is where those thesaurus skills come in handy, but it's not just about finding the fanciest word.
Right.
It's about choosing the word that best fits the context and conveys your meaning most effectively.
And it prevents your speech from sounding monotonous.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears and talk about fluency.
Ah, fluency. The holy grail of speaking tests. Something I've always struggled with under pressure.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. The good news is that fluency, like any skill, can be improved with practice.
It's not about being naturally gifted, it's about putting in the work.
Exactly. The guide recommends practicing speaking continuously, even if it means talking to yourself.
Oh, I do a lot of self-talk, especially when preparing for presentations.
It helps you get comfortable with the sound of your own voice and trains your brain to think and speak in English more spontaneously.
So it's like warming up your vocal cords and your thought processes.
Precisely. And another helpful tip is to use linking words to connect your ideas.
Ah, those little bridges that help your speech flow smoothly.
Exactly. Words like however, moreover, as a result, or on the other hand, can help you create seamless transitions.
Like weaving a tapestry, making sure that each thread connects to the next one.
Now let's move on to pronunciation. It might seem like a basic element, but it plays a crucial role in how you are perceived.
I've noticed that even if someone has great grammar, great vocabulary, if their pronunciation is unclear, it can be difficult to understand.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes paying attention to word stress and intonation.
Oh, yeah, those subtle nuances that can completely change the meaning.
Exactly. For example, the word present can be a noun or a verb depending on where you place the stress.
Right, like a present, a gift, or to present something.
Precisely. And intonation, the rise and fall of your voice, can convey emotion and emphasis.
It's like adding punctuation to your words.
Exactly. The guide suggests listening to native speakers and imitating their pronunciation patterns.
So immerse yourself in English language media, movies, podcasts, music, all that.
Yes. And don't be afraid to practice speaking out loud, even if it feels silly at first.
It's all about training your ear and your tongue to work together.
Now, before we move on, I want to address something that often gets overlooked in test preparation: confidence.
Oh, confidence, that elusive quality that can make or break your performance.
You're absolutely right. Even if you have all the knowledge and skills, if you lack confidence, it can hinder your ability to express yourself effectively.
Like having stage fright.
Exactly. And the guide offers some excellent advice for boosting your confidence. First and foremost, remember that the examiner is assessing your communication skills, not perfection.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's okay to make mistakes. Everyone does.
The key is to not let them derail you, right?
Well, right. View mistakes as learning opportunities and chances to demonstrate your resilience.
It's okay if you hit a bump in the road.
Yes. Another helpful tip is to practice speaking in front of a mirror or with a friend.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great way to simulate the test environment and get used to having an audience.
And the more you practice, the more comfortable you become.
Exactly. And remember, the IELTS speaking test is ultimately about communication.
Yeah.
It's not just about showcasing your grammatical accuracy or your vocabulary range.
It's about demonstrating your ability to convey your thoughts, your ideas, your experiences in a clear, coherent, engaging manner.
The examiner wants to see how well you can interact and communicate in English, just like you would in a real-life situation.
So bring your personality, your enthusiasm, your unique perspective to the table.
Exactly. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
But I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder as we move into the final part of our deep dive. Think back to those sample cue cards we discussed. The ones about good news, a beloved activity, and a dream destination. I want you to think about which of those prompts resonated with you the most. Which one sparked your curiosity or made you eager to share your own story?
Oh, that's a great question to leave our listeners with.
Yes.
Because it's like planting a seed for them to start brainstorming.
Exactly.
Preparing for their own IELTS speaking test.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll wrap up with some insightful takeaways
Okay.
and leave you with some thought-provoking questions to ponder.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
As we wrap up our exploration of the IELTS speaking test,
Yeah.
I think one thing that has really stuck with me
Yeah.
is just how much more there is to this exam.
I know, right? It's not just about, memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary lists.
It's about weaving all of those elements together to
Right.
create this tapestry of communication.
A tapestry that showcases your unique personality,
Yes.
your experiences, your perspectives.
Absolutely. And one of the key takeaways for me has been the emphasis on authenticity.
Oh, yeah.
The examiner wants to see the real you,
Right.
not some robotic version
Yeah.
spouting pre-rehearsed answers.
It's about letting your passion,
Yeah.
your enthusiasm,
An enthusiasm.
shine through.
Yes.
Whether you're talking about a memorable event
Right.
or a beloved activity or a dream destination.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mistakes are simply opportunities for growth
Yeah.
and resilience.
They show the examiner that you can adapt and recover,
Exactly.
which is valuable in any language, really.
Absolutely. And another crucial insight
Yeah.
has been the importance of understanding those evaluation criteria.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Knowing what the examiners are looking for
Yeah.
allows you to tailor your preparation
Right.
and performance
Understand.
accordingly.
It's like having a roadmap to success.
The roadmap to success.
So focus on your fluency,
Yes.
coherence, lexical resource,
No.
grammatical range, and accuracy and pronunciation.
All of them.
All of them.
But don't get so caught up in those technical aspects that you
Mm.
lose sight of the bigger picture.
Right.
The IELTS speaking test is ultimately about communication.
Yes.
It's about connecting with the examiner,
Right.
sharing your thoughts
Yeah.
and ideas, and demonstrating your ability to engage in a meaningful conversation.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to pose a challenge to our listeners.
A challenge to spark further reflection.
And action.
Think back to that sample cue card
Okay.
about describing a place you'd like to visit.
What place would you choose
Yes.
to talk about?
What unique features,
Yeah.
cultural elements, or personal connections?
Would you highlight?
How would you structure your response
Yeah.
to create a captivating and memorable experience for the examiner?
Take some time to brainstorm.
Yes.
Jot down some notes.
Yes.
Maybe even practice speaking about your chosen destination.
Remember, preparation and practice are your keys to unlocking success on the IELTS speaking test.
And most importantly,
Yes.
approach the test with confidence
Absolutely.
and a positive mindset.
Believe in yourself
Yes.
and your ability to communicate effectively.
That wraps up our deep dive into the IELTS speaking test.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights
Yeah.
and practical strategies to help you achieve your desired band score.
Remember, the journey of language learning is an ongoing one.
Keep practicing,
Yeah.
keep exploring, and keep pushing yourself to new heights.
Best of luck on your IELTS journey.